Ladies and gentlemen, over the last 2 years, many people have gotten into the game of chess. It was obviously a mix of the pandemic, the Twitch boom and PogChamps, and of course, the Queen's Gambit. Many of you watching this might have never played the game of chess before 2020. But with all newcomers to the game, there obviously are people who have quit it as well for a variety of reasons. Too frustrating, too time-consuming, not feeling like you're developing enough, feeling like you're developing too much and spending way too much time on it, which is basically time-consuming. But whatever. Point is, many of us have wanted to quit chess. I've done it myself several times throughout my life. I've taken month-long, almost year-long breaks, especially in my teenage years. And yesterday, on stream, I had one of the worst meltdowns I have ever had in a game that legitimately makes me never want to play. So naturally, what do? I share it with all of you, and I turn it into a YouTube video so you can laugh at my pain, because I laugh at yours all the time in Guess the Elo and my How to Lose at Chess playlist. Let's get into the games. So this was a 3-game match that I played toward the end of my stream versus somebody named Raja. This is Harshit Raja. I've played him a handful of times, many times. I think we have like 140 games of bullet against each other, and he's a strong. I thought he was a GM, but maybe he's almost a GM. So 3 games. This is the first game. And I'm playing with black. I play a Queen's Gambit accepted. He plays this variation where he kind of delays taking back on d4. He plays knight f3. A little bit of a tricky line. Point is that if I take on e3, he has bishop takes f7 and I lose. So that's not what happened. If I take the bishop, he takes my queen. So I decided to just give him a check, trade off my bishop, and just develop. So good rule of thumb in the opening: if your opponent is gambiting central pawns and getting a very quick lead in development with knight, bishop, queen, don't just pawn gobble. All right, so you're still gonna learn stuff in this video while you laugh at my pain. So I traded, and I just got my king to safety. And a couple of moves later, we honestly just got like a completely symmetrical position. We traded knights, and you'll notice it's 2 rooks, knight, bishop, 2 rooks, knight, bishop, A, B, F, G, H. Completely symmetrical. White is better, though. Why is white better? White controls really the only open file on the board. This is kind of an open file, but he controls the most important one, because once he gets in here, I have actually some problems. So I decided to trade rooks with him, and then I decided to bring my king. This is very important. Once you've kind of maxed out all the pieces of your endgame, you've got to start bringing your king over. So king f8 to play king to e7. He plays g4 somewhere. Oh, I apologize, something like this. And somewhere here, I offered him a draw. I think I actually offered him a draw here, kind of to troll him, to be like, all right, man, totally symmetrical position. Let's make the draw. He's like, nope, you're trash. I'm going to outplay you. And I'm like, all right, well, that's kind of disrespectful. I mean, he's trying to outplay me in a position of total symmetry. It's a totally equal position. Impossible to play this for a loss. Possible to play this for a loss, I suppose, if for the viewing audience. But I was like, all right, there's no way. I mean, come on, what are we looking at here, right? I'm just gonna go here. We're gonna trade rooks, but I have to be careful, because the truth is, if I rush with a trade of rooks, I actually lose the endgame. His bishop is a little bit better than mine, right? So I'm like, okay, so I could go g5. It's one option. I decided to reroute my knight into the middle. He played bishop d5, and I just defended myself. He gave me, he pinned me, right? And I counterattacked his rook while also defending my bishop, and then moved out of the pin. So he goes bishop takes, I play knight takes c6. So I've traded off one of his bishops. My king is quite active, which is very important in the endgame. I'm protecting against his various knight jumps, and now the position officially is 0-0-0. So completely equalized. Black has completely equalized. Notice that he's extending a lot of his pawns forward, and I'm just sort of chilling. I'm not pushing. I'm just sort of controlling the movement of his knight. I'm not letting his rook get too close to me. He plays the move a4, and I play the move knight e5 with intentions to fork him and put my knight here. He plays rook d4 check. I go here, and he plays f4. Now here I could just play the move knight c4. For some reason, I decided not to do this, and decided to play rook c4 instead. Rook c4 is an interesting move. My logic here was like, he can't take my knight because his rook is hanging. So if he trades, now I come with tempo, and then I'm just going to harass his pawns. So that was my logic. I mean, I could have played knight c4, but it's blitz, right? So I played rook c4, and I figured, all right, he's got to take. He has to take, because if he moves back, then I just take this pawn. If he moves back, then I take this pawn. If he goes here, I don't know. Check him. Maybe I don't know. But we're going to trade rooks, and at least it'll be an endgame. A drawn knight endgame. But then he went here. And I went, uh-oh. Oh, that's real bad, because now my knight is hanging, but I can't move it because my rook is hanging. So I'm just going to take rook. And then when he takes check, I just have to attack his knight. So I'm going to play rook d4, knight d4, king d5, takes. Easy. Like, what is he doing? Apparently, I have to go check first. All right, and then I have to play rook c2 and attack his knight. I didn't see that. Here's why this doesn't work. Because after this entire sequence of moves, I can't take his knight. I miscalculated. This is not why I wanted to quit the game of chess, though. This was just the beginning. This you're gonna see. Trust me. All right. Why can't I take his knight? Because in this position, he decoy sacrifices one of his pawns. I completely missed this move. And I have to take, or else he takes me. If I go here, it's chop, chop, g7. So when you have two pawns surrounding one in an endgame like this, one can be sacrificed to create a passer. However, I did not give up. All right, I didn't resign. And I was like, no, this dude can't beat me. I'm on a knight versus pawn. I don't care. Let's go. He's still got to earn his chops. So I kept my king active, right? And the way he has to win this is he probably needs to control one of my pawns here and just get over here and win the 2-on-2 with the extra knight, right? So he starts bringing his king, and here I blunder into a completely lost endgame. I mean, it is over. However, what he needs to do is not win my pawn. He needs to play king g5 first. That prevents me from getting to his pawn. Then he gobbles both, and he wins. But he plays this, and now I've won his pawn. So he was supposed to not let me do that. Now he's still completely winning. All he's got to do is get over here, win my pawns, and win the game, right? Like something even like this wins. He just wins. What does he do? Starts jumping his knight around. I sack my pawn and I go over there. All right? He plays knight d5, and now I'm like, dude, I still have a g-pawn. I still have a g-pawn. Who's going to go and stop me? If the knight goes and stops me, I take both pawns. This is his last moment to win. He has to play b5, sack, outside passer. Very important to keep these concepts in mind in pawn endgames. Sack the pawn, create an outside pass pawn, and he just wins here. Why does he win? King f5. My king cannot get close, and I can't take his knight. I'm paralyzed. I can't take his knight because he queens. If I play b4, he can check me. He's permanently defending his pawn because if I try to win, he goes here. So pawn endgames are super, super tricky. All right, you've got to know what's going on here. b4. But here's what he does. He plays a5. And now his pawns are frozen. He makes a fatal mistake, and now neither his king nor his knight can stop my pawn without surrendering something. If he moves his king, I take his knight. If he moves his knight, I take both pawns. And by some miracle, I saved this game. The game was over. I mean, the game was completely lost, but I saved it. I didn't resign. I saved it. I was like, oh, yes, let's go. All right, let's carry this momentum into the second game. All right, second game, here we go, d4. I'm playing a Trumpowski, one of my favorite openings. I'm going for my favorite Stonewall setup, so I'm going to be trading my bishop for his knight. But then he moved it out of the way. I was like, oh, that's kind of unfortunate. Maybe if I knew that he was going to do that, I would have taken first and then played f4. I really enjoy these kind of dark square bind setups. But, okay, f4, and I castled long. And here, I was expecting him to kick out my bishop because I thought, oh, he can't castle. But then he did. I was like, huh? Oh, okay. I can't take. Because even though I can take, it's very important. He's just going to go here. It's very important before you do anything that's just the one move attack that you see what they're going to do. They're not going to just let you take, right? And now I have an issue. There's a problem here. So I decided, okay, well, if I can't take his pawn, I'm going to force his knight back like this, and then play g4, and I'm going to start an attack, right? I'm going to play for knight f3, f5, etc. So I played h3, and he's thinking. I'm like, why is he thinking? He has to go back. What is he going to do? And then it dawns on me, right? One of my favorite sayings is, if a move looks impossible, but it's not, it's probably going to be pretty good. So he plays this. Oops. So all that momentum that I just gained from the first game is gone. Because if I take this, he plays bishop d4, threatening my queen and mate, and I have to lose my queen. My alternative is to play rook e1 and still lose a pawn and still maybe get mated. And I was like, all right, you know what? I'm so stupid, losing with white in 9 moves. Let's sack a queen. Sometimes you tilt in chess and you're like, you know what? I don't care. We're just going to play this position. I have 2 pieces for the rook. He couldn't beat me in the last game. He definitely won't beat me in this game. All right? Really stupid confidence. All right? So what do? Kick out his queen, put my rook on the open file, and he gives me his rook. So sometimes when you're up a queen for material, it's okay to lose a rook for a bishop or a knight, because the more material that gets traded, the more powerful the queen gets. The thing is that I actually need my pieces in the long run to fight against the queen. If the queen just ends up against a couple of pieces somewhere, she's going to win. But with a full army, it's a little bit different. So notice I'm trying to kind of avoid trades, and the only trades that I'm going for are the ones that I think are forced. Like here, it's kind of a forced trade. You'll notice I haven't taken the rook in a very long time. I actually think in the long run, my bishop there controlling his king movement might be even a little bit more important. But here, I do end up going for an important trade. I decide to get his bishop because if I get his bishop, I can put my bishop there, right? And then I can also control the d file. So actually, we have come all the way back. When I lost the queen all the way back here, the position was -6 according to Stockfish, okay? We go forward, I play safe chess, I trade the right things, I create a little bit of a pawn blockade and initiative over here, and this position is -2. It is no longer -6. Why is it -2? Because I have 2 bishops for a queen and a pawn, but I have a really annoying blockade on his position. Somehow my 2 rooks, 2 bishops, and like a bunch of pawns are just chilling. They're not really doing anything. Like they're making his piece is not doing anything. Oh my god, what was that? That was, sometimes I can't speak properly. And by the way, it gets better. B5, I go here, plays rook d8. Finally, I'm like, all right, if I let his rook get into the game, it's going to be real bad. So let me take, and I decide to keep moving forward. And I break apart his position. He plays queen f6, and I play rook e1 and take another pawn. Folks, it's the pawns are now equal. It's rook and bishop for a queen. I'm only down 1 point. When we started this entire position all the way on move 10 or something, I was down 5 points of material. I have fought all the way back. All the way back. I told you, Raja is a good player, but he can't beat me. I'm defending in amazing fashion. And in this position, I'm like, okay, he's attacking my rook. And if I move my rook up or down, he's going to take my bishop, right? So I have this move, but I'm also thinking this move. But this move looks a little bit clunky. I'm like, I don't really want to do that. It feels like I'm weakening my king, and then my king has to go out. I don't know. All right, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go here. And I spoil everything, and I blunder a fork. Yeah. Tilting moment number 1. My rooks together on the 5th rank would have created a barrier which would have protected my bishop completely. And by the way, if he would have given me these checks and forced my king out, I would have just covered with my bishop. I'm not even worse. Stockfish thinks that white has equalized the game here. Why? Because, for example, let's say queen takes h3, I can play rook e7 and just go for h7. Like, somehow, I've completely saved the game. Completely. And if he gets desperate, he might even lose. All right, he might straight up just get mated on the back rank. So, totally nuts. Completely insane levels of comeback here. All to be spoiled by a blunder of a fork. He picks up my bishop. I give him, I play out of spite, just like last game, but I end up resigning because, he's going to pick this up. I'm pretty sure low on time. Okay, all right. I'm not quitting chess just yet. That was a bad game, but all right, we're gonna make a comeback. It's gonna be wonderful. Here we go. And this is it, folks. This could very well be the final game of my career for a while. He plays e4. I play d5. All right, I'm playing one of my Portuguese variations, Portuguese gambit variation. We trade bishops. Queen takes d5. And we get a very dynamic and interesting position where I've castled long, he's castled short. My queen is kind of hanging out near his king. Long-term attacking ideas here are like rook g8 and g5. This could get very dangerous for white very quickly. He decides to play rook d1. I do go rook g8 with the intention to play g5, and he plays queen c4. Queen c4 is a weird move. Now, on the one hand, I could go g5, but I didn't really like that I don't know what my next move is. So, for example, if I play g4, he just goes here. And if I take, he takes, and I'm forked. and I'm just getting mated probably. If I'm not getting mated, then I'm getting at least butchered for a little bit. So I actually pumped the brakes on the attack, and we end up playing a little bit of defense. He tries to counterattack here with d5, and we have a big trade, like a massive trade. Everything gets traded because I really don't like that he's kind of hanging out here. I decide to trade everything, and I play queen back to g6. He plays rook d1, and I gotta tell you, I'm really not happy with the position because he's threatening queen d7, which just leads to mate. If I play queen e6, then that actually removes the defender of my g-pawn. So he doesn't have to take, he'll take this. So now I'm really upset because I drew the first game after being dead lost. I lost the second game after nearly holding a dead lost position. I'm gonna lose this game too. This is so infuriating. Then it dawns on me. I have the move bishop d6. Now this looks like I just lose a pawn too. Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, rook takes. I'm just a pawn down. Rook knight 6, rook knight 5. This is a bad endgame. But I realized something. I don't have to trade queens. Rook d8. Very common tactical pattern. If a queen gets too far in the cookie jar, sometimes the rook that's defending her all the way back there has no guard. If the rook has a guard, this doesn't work. But in this case, the rook is by himself. The queen has no move backwards to defend the rook. Well, that hangs this and this. So there's no move backwards to defend the rook. And if you take my queen, I'm taking with check. So either I take your queen back if it's not mate. In this case, it is mate. So he completely misses this, right? And he played this instantly. He snap took, totally missed rook d8. So just to show you that even 2850s hang their queens. And I'm like, okay, that's it. I am absolutely winning this game. There is, no ifs, ands, or buts. But however, folks, do you remember that a couple of games ago and last game, I didn't resign? Well, now Raja's like, dude, you didn't resign against me. You didn't show me any respect. I'm not showing you any respect either. You have to beat me. Let's go. All right, so how are we going to win this position? Well, he covers his pawn. I bring my knight out, and I start advancing with my h-pawn. And my intention here is to take some space, open up some lines, and at some point infiltrate with my queen. At this point, I almost played the move queen f5 and hung my queen. You never resign if a knight is on the board. You never know when you can win a queen. I almost played this move. Instead, I went here, and he let me take this, and then check him, and I checked him again, and now again I'm trying to trade off a pawn. So we trade. I've won one of his pawns on the a-file. I've traded one of his pawns. He plays knight c4. I check him, and around here, I'm kind of like, all right, I'm gonna bring my king up just to make sure the knight can't check me. We check, king goes back to g1. All right. And from this point forward, I'm not even going to analyze this game. I'm actually going to show you the live footage of how badly I collapsed in this game while actively trash-talking the fact that my opponent was not resigning. Have a look. Raja resigned. You and I are not the same. I will beat you here. You won't win. This is not a position that you would win. So just take a quick L, okay? It's all good. Please, just do you and myself a favor. The longer that this game goes, the more I have a chance of f***ing it up. All right, so just resign. Do you and me a favor? All right, please. I beg you, boss. Oh, I almost hung my queen. Bro, I straight up almost hung my queen a second time, bro. Knight d5? Oh my. Unbelievable. Galaxy levels of garbage. I am. All right, that's it. Now we're getting the trade. And this should be easy. Pick up the pawn. Check. Go b5. Oh, he's still not resigning. We're still playing. Still playing. This is wild, bro. God damn. He's quick. I don't know about good. Definitely fast. I like how this has gotten like way closer than it should have ever been. Well, this has been a good stream. You all have a great afternoon. Yeah, I might never be seen live on Twitch ever again. So honestly, yeah, it's been a fun career. It's been kind of nice coming back and streaming more consistently. But yeah, unfortunately, it's a shame that we have to cut it short. And yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. So if you're sitting there wondering, wow, that was really funny, but I don't really understand why he's upset. I would have lost that game with white, black, purple, green, red, like, doesn't really matter. Please explain it to me. When I got to that endgame with queen, knight, and 3 pawns versus rook, knight, and 3 pawns, with 1 minute each on the clock when that clip started, that endgame should be won by a player rated 2,780, 100 times out of 100. If it's 99, it's because in that one time you, God forbid, had a heart attack, or somebody rang the doorbell and you had to go get the delivery, or your internet cut out. I don't know. But it's embarrassing to lose that position for several reasons. At the very least, when it's queen versus rook, I can sacrifice my queen for his rook and make a draw. If he beats me on time with just the king, it's a draw. He beat me on time with the rook on the board, so he beat me, according to the rules of chess. And then, like, the whole endgame was so scatterbrained. I mean, I could have won all his pawns so much faster. I could have not hung my passed pawn on the A file. I had mate in 3, mate in 5, mate in 6, mate in 7, mate in 8. I mean, it was unbelievable. What I did in that game made me want to take both of these monitors and you, not you, the audience, you're worth more than a queen, but this camera, this lighting, honestly, just set the room on fire. Just forget that I could ever play chess in this room and like go play it somewhere else. Maybe play it on the sidewalk. I don't. You guys know those games? Those kinds of games? How many of you have rage deleted your online accounts after some bad losses? Oh my gosh, chess is the worst. But luckily today is the next day, and I don't know. Maybe if there's enough support in the comments and you guys write some funny stuff and tell me some personal anecdotes about how you wanted to quit before because you raged so hard, I'll laugh it off and I'll get back to playing again. But oh my god, that just felt so bad. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Get out of here.